Yeah. Okay. Definitely cut me up already. Yeah. Oh, hi, yeah. Tanya. I don't know which channel I'm on now. Are you on the Waking World? Let me just check which channel you're on. Yeah, you're on the UK Awaken World. How are you? Sound good, yeah. Hi. You won't believe what they put in my bloody flat when I got in. 2 home invasions in 2 days. How are you doing? I got your email, by the way. I was just trying to relax after the BS. Yeah, sorry to hear you're tired. What's the time where you are? I've been going to invest into a life straw. I'll do it at some point next week. What did they do? Email me after. Yeah, it's just basically putting bugs in my flat, putting a fly, putting things in my bedroom, move them about, the usual psychological stuff. Like yesterday, it was unlocking the door, the dog poop in the outside and everywhere today. What is it with bikes? You know, what is it with push bikes and motorbikes for 2 weeks in a row? Is that symbolising with the programme? I know. Is it like they're symbolising? I haven't known anybody or read anything about why they use push bikes, motorbikes. I know about the gaslighting, the street theatre, but I've never had before. It's like they're hinting at get on your bike, push off, while they're symbolising. That's the only logical thing that comes across. Hold on, they're hacking me again. No. Yeah. 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 I'm streaming on the other channel too. So of course they always play things back. And the NK Ultra 4 playbacks already. I know one current viewer is watching what I'm saying. How is the situation you are in Australia? Oh, well, I'm trying to save what little coins, silver coins that I get. Little change I can afford to save up. Because the silver in nickel, well, in English currency, the coins in small denomination, I could have done it in the bank today, but I didn't want to do it all at once because it looks ridiculous. Don't want to have bags of coins on me. So the weather's going to be crap again at the weekend, so I just need the rest of the BS. I mean, I was livid when I got in, because how dare they just trespass in my home. I've got this, you've not opened your door. Yeah, I did wonder about that. Watch it, last video, they done that to my mum with the lights. Yeah, I caught a glimpse of it earlier today, this morning, well, lunchtime-ish, and I was too knackered of the BS. They radiated I don't know what they did to my bloody back. On my head. But I just couldn't focus. It woke me up too early again, about 6 AM, and I woke, with the RM, sleep deprivation control. Well, not deprivation really, it was more like dream manipulation control. So it's like they control your breathing as well, isn't it? So all the Wi-Fi, everything was off. All I had is one phone on with the earplugs in, listening to Christian type meditation music and audio, and the frequencies were so strong. I mean, I've never heard it so loud and strong. So I don't know what the bloody equipment they've got zooming in. They really intensified it. So I hope these demons just they're going to hell or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm just absolutely all I could do was just have a cheap takeaway and just try and relax, because they were pushing the buttons and this fly, it was like it was the technology now, they can make bugs, really tiny nano bugs, and flies, all sorts now. I researched that years ago, and it seemed like that bloody fly they let in was one of them. But I got a DIY video I watched, so I'll rewatch that tomorrow. Fingers crossed I'm all with it, and I can safely do. I'll have to be careful with the water version. You get sealed plastic bags with the straw. You have to hang it up. The special stuff you put in it, which is organic, and essence oils, natural oils mixed, and that will stop with the natural essence oils. I know 2 oils I can get them from, and they're quite cheap, and then you can just put some drops of water in it into a bag and hang it near your window or doors, and make sure you don't, you remember where they are so you don't get a shower, and make sure they're sealed, and it stops, any of this demonic bugs or anything coming in, like flies coming in your home, and it's a natural way to stop all this. And these perps, I can't believe they go that far today because I didn't have, I left about 3:30 a.m, got back about 7 p.m, and I feel like just I've got saved some cash. So I got my disability cash. I've saved everything's going to be saved. I'm just making do with everything I've got in storage. And because September, was going to come. And so, like you know about military, I know why they've got the cameras built around the corner, new ones, to watch every bloody move. So I thought, stuff it, I really just felt going up bleeding with my mate. They suggested it. If I was still feeling peed off, to go to the casino and use my saved £82 and just bloody have a blast, because I've just fed out with it all. And I said, well, no, it's wise to save it, because I really want to invest it and just watch a really comedy film. So I just chilled out. So it's a wise decision, just to rest the body, I'm ready for a battle again tomorrow. Friday again as a BS. So this is what they want. They want you to waste your cash. And cash will be absolute in England anyway soon. So it's wise to look into my camping storage I've got. Go through my food storage and just get ready and prepare, because we're now coming up towards the end of August. And so September, October. So we're looking really to build up things like, in England, for example, everything will suddenly change. Becoming dictation. It's going to ramp up. So for people in my situation, especially with the disability side, so everything I do, I need to have everything portable. So there's a couple of items I want to get, which will be roughly about £80, 2 items together. And if I can get it ordered and it doesn't get damaged or hacked into, and I'll get it ordered. And so yeah, I'll give it by next week. Yeah, they have cameras on them too. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I understand how you feel awakened, save all your money, you can food, water. Exactly. You see, I'm going to invest in a new kettle. It's not going to be expensive. I never get anything expensive. Because always damage the stuff, don't they? I'm not going to get a new laptop with stuff in it, because I always damage things. So, they hacked into the phone that got hacked into yesterday. All I'm going to do is just see where I can wipe my data off a couple of these phones I don't need. Just get rid of them, sell them. You won't get much for them because they're quite old. Although they're quite good phones, they're quite old in technology. And then just invest in. You can't really buy any silver really off mint. Like SHP was saying about, in her currency in Canada, suggesting getting your nickels, dimes or whatever they use. I don't know what, sort of change, and then get things you barter with. Because I don't smoke or drink, so if you get small bags of baccy in, and small like cans of alcohol in. You can use that as first aid if you know your way around about how to do things first aid wise. And looking at investment that way, things I've done already, but just really clean out, focus more on that side really, because if they're going to sort of like imply, especially what they're doing in the world, but especially how it's going to turn out, and these demonic demons all around me, it's just drug dealing, certain flats around here, and the perpetrators, and they're never going to clean in the hallway. I'm paying out for bloody disinfectant, cleaning stuff just to keep the hallway bloody by my door clean, let alone inside. So I'm not going to invest in anything new, because what's the point? Because they're going to this is how demonic, these demons are. And yesterday, when I saw the eyes of the perp neighbour, literally went past me as I come out the door in by the front entrance. She just looked. I saw the purple, the pupils in her eyes, and it's just so obvious what I was looking at. And today I didn't give a shite. I just absolutely did not give a shite. Put some cash, just enough cash in my bank just to cover my payments, and that's it. And never put everything in the bank if one can help it. Just keep some out, and the cash, because it could happen any time. It'd lose the value of currency, and all these bloody digital currencies all controlled by a few, isn't it? Digital this, digital that. Yeah, you'll get it too in Australia. Yes, I understand. Do you feel save all your money you can, bid and more? Same here, Wilkin. How is your mum, your son, and your beautiful dog? Because when I look at different people's videos, all parts of the world, isn't it? And it's rooted, isn't it? I mean, no, I don't know if I'm going to screen share on this. Okay. I'm just looking at now the Jewets, right? The history of the 1700s. I mean, we're not dealing with ordinary individuals. We're dealing with the 13 bloodlines, Illuminati infiltrated every aspect of life around the world. Commerce, business, Knights Templar, I mean, they've been controlling everything for years, for centuries. So, it's the same information I came across a while back. It's like what I witnessed firsthand again. The radiation effect of that. There's more than one sun, there was a harp. And I'm looking up today, right, the depopulation program, okay, to target the radiation, the harp, steering all this, and the advanced technology, electrical, the genocide, as well as all the engineering with the weather and the technology, what they're doing. So I found a blog with it, and it highlighted 2014 year, and the polar vortex, which is exceeding its limits, and that relates going back to the Society of Jewett Secret Babylon occult, known as the Society of Jewett's independent discussion in a page I found dated 2015, and so I haven't read it through much, so it just goes in history of the destruction of Jerusalem, including the role of the Charles Alexander II, saving the USA, the Civil War, Russia preventing, and this goes on and goes on and on and on and on. So yeah, it's the same what people's got out the depopulation program and of planet Earth, really, you know. So it always pops up, doesn't it? The bill, why is the Gates Foundation helping Monsanto modifying the food? I got broccoli the other day. It's rubber. It's not real. It's not natural. The history timeline of population control. So this oh, I don't know on stream. Let's have a look if I can do this. Multitasking. Awaken, I'll send you a video to watch. That'd be good. Not good awakening, and they're attacking her bad. I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that, Tanya. I'm just going to screen share. Just a short one, really. If I get hacked, I'll come back. So, nope, that's not the one I want to share. It's it goes into big farm industry. Bill Gates are used for something, you know, just hints to that. And you don't need to say much. Help to reduce the world population, chemtrails, geoengineering. Look at asteroid toxins. There's a lot of history with this document. International assistance to commit genocide secret. I don't know what this is. Bear with me for one page. It's wrong. It could be a book. Deep Secrets, it's called. That's the author. 2016, the author. What's the introduction? Contents. Standing in the way, the struggle for human rights. The rights to rights. Human rights. Effect of overpopulation on human rights. Losing credibility. Well, that's what they do anyway, don't they? Whose interest NGOs represent? The media's complicity in crimes against humanity. Isn't that relevant? You've been scheduled for illumination, page 28. In poisoning the truth and censorship, isn't that what's going on? Corruption of science, the holy grail. Controlling human life on planet. I mean, are they playing God? Basic instincts of civilization. Their subject on depopulation. Health is unhealthy world. Not overpopulated. A letter to heads of states and government. Letter to Pope Francis. A letter to the Berger Group. I mean, they're part of the bigger picture of the Rockefeller family. Religion, social sciences, and depopulation. Church is the secret force behind the current international system. Red alert for nurses, teachers, and government workers. That's at page 93. Planetary well-being amidst clashing, whatever. What would I like to change in this world? Why a mass killing event is relevant? It's really, I'll read this another time. Why are you important? Warning to the government of Canada. Wow. Why we must all threaten violence and mean it. That's demonic. Why your government wants your permanent death. Really? How has the American government abandoned genocide? How to destroy the population lobby without destroying the world? Depopulation by you-know-what, Depopulation drug makers awarded Nobel Prize. Oh my god. You can't believe this book. The civilization of supervisation of medicine and public health. Now or never, let us head to state. Turn nature against man. Really? The role of paramedics. Red flags on. Okay, repeat that word. Behind the mask. Malaria. Involuntary sterilization. Wow. Letter to India. Divine balance. Letter to Pope Francis. Long, detailed information. Restoring the rule of law and legal implications of covert depopulation. The true meaning of corp in Turkey. Suppressing, suppressing the truth in the era of covert depopulation. How will we turn a nightmare into a dream? An interview. Depopulation at work in the development world. Depopulationists at work in development world. People love people. Evidence that population control on the former Eastern Bloc. Has Russia abandoned genocide? So this is to convince the world, and the author says, that an international system commits genocide within nations to provide nuclear war between nations. Seems an impossible task, even more so that the original justification for genocide was and continues to be pursuit of prosperity. First you have to get these sentinels to the secret and the 193 UN member states, whose intelligence services will come at you from every direction. Don't they ready? To stop you from telling the world that every national leader is an unwilling participant in a global program of population control based on mass murder. This is what the author says. You will be imprisoned, discredited, denied, bankrupt, and emotionally undermined until you lose your mind and commit you-know-what or starve to death out on the street. Oh my goodness me. That's what it claims here. If by some miracle you survive the assaults, then you have to put together the world's most complex puzzle from indirect circumstantial evidence explain why and how and when this system came to be, who it serves, and you have to do this under the most difficult circumstances, under constant threat of death, imprisonment, and in the knowledge that no one will dare publish your work. You will never see your wife, children again. Your property will be taken away from you. It sounds like excuse me. This sounds like George Orwell, 1984. You know, the book, the author of that book, this paragraph that I'm reading. You will never see your wife and children again, your property be taken away from you, and no one will employ you. Doesn't that sound familiar in the targeting program? You will never again sleep in your own bed, or will you or know any creature of comforts, let alone security. You are now at war with every government on earth, and you must come to terms with the idea that your life may come to an abrupt end at any time. My Lord. The only thing you can rely on is your inner strength. Isn't that so true? Reason will get you through. You must become a self-contained island, and never doubt the importance of your task, of your ultimate success, regardless how hopeless the situation looks. Isn't that relevant? If by some miracle you succeed in painting a convincing picture and manage to stay alive, you then have to provide scientific proof that the electric governments the world over, the UN system, the military-industrial complex, and religious authorities are cooperating in a genocide to preempt greater disasters. The imperative committed genocides by altering the basic elements of life and misusing, allegedly, I have to put alleged for YouTube, medicine, public health to subvert fertility, promote morbidity, so to control life from both ends, births and deaths. And you must scream this from the top of the rooftops. You are now at war with the world's ignorance, incurability, apathy, and beliefs. You must come to terms with the words I can't pronounce here, and you will encounter at every turn. Isn't that true? With the targeted program? The only one you can rely on is yourself. Isn't that very true? The targeted program? Faith will get you through. Isn't that so true as well? You must never lose faith in yourself, nor in your fellow man, and must never despair or become bitter, irresponsive of the resistance and criticisms you'll counter every step of the way. Isn't that blinking like what it is now? This author's name. If by some miracle you make yourself heard and establish your credibility over every government, organisation, institute, shatter prejudice and bigotry, envy and hate, it will have taken years. Shall be a generation before you will be thanked of it all. Throughout this time you have to stay alive and labour without regard to yourself, without knowing if you will ever see your children again. You are now at war with vested interests, and you must come to terms with your universal unpopularity. Well, that's so true, isn't it? With object property, because no one will want you to succeed if their interests are at stake, and the culture of death on which the current system is built. It is the foundation of all interests. The only way you can prevail is by staying true to what is true. Truth will get you through. You must become truth sanctuary and torch bearer, and must learn how to discern falsehoods sold as truths, truth condemned as falsehoods. Isn't that true as well? And if by the end of this multi-relentless struggle you are still standing, you can still smile, and you still love, then there is hope. and love that got you through. Behind every word and every line, within every thought on this book, resides a reason, faith, truth, hope, love that got me through and will also get you through to the other side. Beyond the illusion and beyond the lies, into the light and into the future. And the title of the book, Chapter 1, Stand in the Way, Struggles for Human Rights, April 2012. Can you believe that? Can you believe that, Tanya? Hello, Hammer08, how are you? I'm just passing through quickly and wanted to say hi. Well, thanks. I found this site earlier and I thought, I'll share it with you and viewers. Let's have a look. Core mission, the public must learn the truth about, yes, yeah, good site, good subject. About the, excuse me, Jonathan Kennedy, the Service of Unity for Citizen Journalists, Digital Soldiers, Professional Journalists were dedicated to the, I can't pronounce that word, declassified government records. Very good. Ultimate purpose behind the project, can't pronounce the other word, is to make our government more accountable since it goes off its way to make FOIA hold on, let me just go down a bit. Impractical for the average citizen. We're not citizens, by the way. But anyway, that's what they say. To engage with the history of the government. So it's a Project APARIO, committed to public disclosure. The threat from yeah, exactly. The threat from communism has never been more life-threatening for the United States of America and the world. Wow. Wow. I was just reading this article, a similarity to this. Not just provide you downloadable archives or declassified records. Uses AI machine learning. Oh, look at that. AI is beyond controlling a target individuals, actually, and much more. So let's have a quick nose. A raven who carries, correction, a raven who cares started developing project, and I can't pronounce it, but the year is 2020. And he was laid off years after, I can't pronounce those words, for being a Trump supporter. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And your politics do not align with our values as a survivor of both human trafficking. My goodness me, it does go on. Human trafficking and communism. Can't pronounce the words now. Let's have a look. Has big plans in 2021 and 2022. Is it patient pending? And it goes on. Deliver novel, decentralized document research around social media. Yeah, this is all, well, good luck to them. There's a lot to do with not just Amazon and Google, Microsoft, Apple, and tech. There's a lot of history behind it all. Let's have a look. Depends on your membership to operate. Do you wish to be a member? Is it free? It says so, doesn't it? Where they're based. Copyrighted. They've got a Telegram group. That's handy. Let's see. Are they a company? They're currently operating on a company. Disclaimer. Peanuts Vault LLC. It's a limited company, non-for-profit. What states? Let's have a look. We've got an assumption status. Okay, so who are they? Privacy acceptable, GDPR. Let's have a look what the company is first. So, the base in the United States. Okay. Just be aware of your data sharing, especially nowadays. Good idea. Yeah, the American companies, so just be aware. When you look at a company, you do the research behind them, find out usually the privacy policy or terms of service, you find out who they are, who the CEO is, and check out the CEO and what background they got, right? Especially when you got information like this going on, because all data is tracked, everything's tracked. So they got standard privacy, doesn't really tell you who they are. Okay. Connections, let's have a look. Yeah, military, US, yeah, I knew they were part of it. US military, yeah, 1700s, yeah. There's a lot of files, yeah, they're good. At least they're getting stuff out for people not aware of research. You know, that they're not aware of some things. So it's a website that you join, but when you're giving your data, just watch where it's going. Especially when you target individual, okay? So they're getting snippets of information out, like these. You can get a lot of information out about the history for free on certain websites already. So without sharing your data to everyone, especially when you've got books like this. Yeah. So thank you for that. I'll just highlight it again. Books. Okay. It's a very good site for D-class and what one that they can't hack to save it, and yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll save it. Look at it, and the world. Tanya says, yeah, definitely. Very good site. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and around the world, definitely. So I'm just gonna check. Yeah, I'm streaming on both websites, channels. Focus site for the D-class and what they can hack to save it. Yeah, I agree. Well, they're hacking me all the time with 16 playbacks. Oh, look. I'll show you both channels, right? This is powers up be able to monitor everything that you bloody do. So, just for the record, thanks, Honeywell. And I'll go back on the other channel. Yeah. Honeywell, Honey, I've forgotten, sorry, I'm pronouncing you wrong. She's on the other channel, Tanya. The one that I've got 2 strikes on, so they like get with the other channel the way they're working. See the difference? See, 3 playbacks, but, you know, because I'm shadow bound this channel, UK Week and World. So I've managed on this app I pay for. Yeah, telling you. Not typing, because I'm tired. I'll just put 10. I'll past 12. So, depopulation, eh? What else? Oh, this book, wasn't it? The most basic human rights is the right to food. Correction. Right to life, food and shelter are the original natural rights embedded in man's genes by instinct and survival. The recognition of such a man's ability to express them with which came much later, first as a thought, then a logistic achievement, but the extinguished grunt of caveman was suffered the injustices of a brutal existence on the lofty language universal declaration. This is important. Natural, by the way, we're all born with natural, universal declarations of human rights have one and the same source, man's innate sense of right and wrong, with one the same meaning, the human, all too human realizations that all men deserve the same rights, that all men are equal under the sun. It is this recognition that equivalent human beings above beast form and still forms the basis for all social structures and the guiding rod of all human interactions. Doesn't that still stand? These global 13 bloodline families in history cannot take that away from you. To this extent, the equality and universal of human rights have a long history as upright human beings with flesh and blood, alive, living beings. Transhumanism is the agenda, turning man to a machine, changing your DNA, for the future. They also have quality old powerful enemies. This is where you need the history. You look in the history of the biblical eras. The most ancient and persistent in the scarcity of resources, followed by the lack of cooperation and poor social organization, and last by hierarchy. The power source is fed by man. Vanity for wealth and status. Isn't that what's going on now? People living within the world, they're living in the world, as some scriptures and pastors and preachers quote, the end times, the wealth, status, that's all they care about. But not everyone's like that. These are the forces that challenge, compromise equality and universality of the human rights throughout history, and why to this day our rights are not inalienable but merely conditional, and not concede reality as much as an inalienable hope. The first and oldest enemy of human rights is scarcity of natural resources. Now, past streams, I've shown the documents where the 13 bloodlines through generational period from real deep history to date has always been controlling resources on Mother Earth. Oh yeah, it's nothing new, but it's more prominent than ever. They begot fierce competition between man and the processes. Some have lost what others have gained, competition for scarce resources. You see, when you talk about Agenda 2030 plus Agenda 21 or Agenda 2050 now, it's more to do with sustainability. When they mention anything in documents, anything called sustainability, that's pushing the agendas for the alleged scarce resources, rationing. So if you go in history, and when there was that, financial crash, economy-wise, well, this is where the threat comes back to where we are now. Threat to equal distribution of economical rights. And then it goes on. This article is 2012. We're now 2021. So it's like, it's pre-warning. And now look where we are now. And the uniform enforcement of political rights. Don't we see that now? Look what's going on with Afghanistan already. And the Middle East, Jerusalem, and close to home. For the latter are very much a coincidence of the former. This is to say, unless people are fed and clothed and sheltered, the state has little tolerance for the citizens' freedom and speech and consequences of religion, which take a back seat to the rights that mean life or death. That's a profound statement, isn't it? And do you know what? Those homeless people haven't got anything. They've lost their jobs, their businesses. They've had to try and survive, find ways to survive. People living out the cars are targeted and made homeless. People most probably homeless, they don't realise they're targeted in the programme. So that statement relates to so many. And bring it into 21st century, 2021 plus. The second enemy, the lack of cooperation, the poor social organisation, has been amplified by society's growing complexity. What communities, expanded as a division of labour, give rise to social interest and wider different perspectives due to one's place and position in society. These divisions became gateways for new abuses, which slavery, the most brutal, though slavery exists to this day, is by debt, bondage, and servitude. This is no longer the rule, but the exception. But if you know the truth about the monetary system, how it works in economics, well, only the few or the elite families. A lot of people are waking up though now, which is good, to this truth. The last enemy of human rights is man's vanity, his need to acquire wealth and status, and the price he's willing to pay for it. Man is fighting the enemy within from the moment he acquires significant physical and mental strength to oppose himself on others, or to resist the imposition of others on him, until, for human civilization, these endeavours and distractions have become part of every society's values and norms. Doesn't that ring a bell? What's going on now? And are at the basis of the hierarchies that run the show. Isn't there no difference in history to date? By ancient, but correction by accident, and more than design, they wreak havoc on the principle of equality between man, affecting every human right in existence. and because hierarchy societies justify the greatest levels of aggression and can force man to act contrary to their nature, they have largely displaced communal societies that frown upon the exploitation of many for the benefit of the few. Now this is why conflict and war between nations and ideologies and cause the most gruesome atrocities in the list of human rights violations. So you see, this is just one aspect, one abstract of this document or book. And look what we're going through now. It's pure demonic and creating this isolation, creating enemies, creating rumours of wars. You know, it's all to do with power and control and the demonic of good and evil. And this is global. This book is very powerful, and this doesn't just go on to Europe, doesn't go on to well-known countries, goes into Africa and the Middle East. It's extremely widespread. So there you go. Indeed, you know. Sad for everyone in the world. Yep. It's all about surviving. Sending loves and hugs to all the beautiful GIs around the world. And you to Tanya. I don't know. We are the creators and spell casters. Oh yes. Hammerwell '08 states, so what we write down becomes our future. Don't live your life living in someone else's history. His story creates your own. Amen to that. I still think that Afghanistan is all staged to show the incompetence of the Biden administration in America. This move is going to be taking a change in the direction. Truth before we meet new life forms. Amen to that. Civil unrest. Yeah. Very good. Excuse me. Alternatively, there was a bomb scare. Yeah, I heard about that. In Washington. I wonder if it's a pathway. Let me just read that. I'll just get back on that comment. I wonder if it's a... Hold on a minute. Just trying. I wonder if it's a path. Can't see that. Just trying to read your comment. I wonder if it's a pathway for the military to take over the White House. Who knows? There's a lot of interesting narrative to that. Truth before, yeah. There's a lot of subjects entwined with that too. Honeywell. Oh wait. Oh yes. So I'm just popping back over. Where was I? Yeah. So where was that website? I just had it. Just shared it. Just going back. My screen sharing. Yeah, here it is. So what's this then? Let's have a look. See if I can open up. Is this 1966 year? Total medical expenses, what's this about? Let's have a look. is relating to. Page 2 is a PDF. It's a snippet PDF inside. I think you need to sign up to actually read the full documents inside it. Yeah, you need to be a member to get into the site. So this is what Honeywell should put in the site. They should put in the site. You've got Defense Department, Pentagon, US military. Don't know. I think you do need to sign up to have a look. There's a lot of data already, administrative and civil, maritime law. There's a lot of these. So what's this relating to? The national report. I need to get some background information before I share this. I'll have to have a look around myself at some point. Videos. Again, I won't share them. A lot of this information, if you go into this document, this book, it gives you some background history already. It goes in further back to World War II. The writer writes to the 2012. I mean, it's 400 pages long, and it details the all evidence shows about 9/11 as well. US securities apparatus, the British counterparts. I'm not going to read out loud. The links to tragedies to start the war created an invisible enemy in Islamic terrorism, which converted targets, countries, stimulated the world, and remaining significant oil reserves to impose on frightened populace. Goes into that, the martial law. This is quite this is not for the faint-hearted, this document, this book. Because if you're already half awakened, this goes into the military camp employee surveillance, the censorship, and misinformation, false flag operations, secrecy created enemies, intimidation, sanctions, torture, imprisonment, assassination, wars. These methods are used against a state that refuses to subscribe to the New World Order countries, such as Iran, I can't pronounce these names, Syria, Cuba, North Korea, Zimbabwe. They also use against individuals who use through the discrete exposure of the master plan. You see, target individuals, whistleblowers, observers, individuals. It goes into some names already. A famous one, obviously, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and this author himself. The civilian camp through as banking arm employs fastest manipulation and to force the development world to give up its social safety net, and the development world to accept the privatisation and NASA assets, and both of which are necessary to provide enough money to fund the master plan. Through the corporate aim is use capital from the development world and labour from the development world to mobilise means of production, destabilise the national economics, and environmentally integrate the master place as to transfer economic control from national to transnational entities' interests, which is necessary if people are to abandon their national loyalties to international entities' interests. Through its political aim, the national leaders are convinced and corrupt or conceived, coerced to cooperate international organisations to starve with insiders. Through its legal aim, the national and international courts are called to ensure that violations and crimes committed in the name of master plan are buried or whitewashed, which I know about all that too well in many areas of my personal life. And through its main arm, the masses are kept obedient and ignorant. What is the outcome? The planners like to believe that the soft solution will succeed, and the world will emerge to a close-knit confederation of nation-states, that they have devised much of their sovereignty and authority to a subnational infrastructure capable of coordinating the world's resources, and to know how to solve our environmental and overpopulation problems peacefully. They also like to believe that the rule of law will be reinstated and the military-industrial security apparatus will be brought back under control. But these are mistaken beliefs, because emerging leaders are by necessary immoral individuals who will be too well entrenched in previous to justice due to establishment-wide complicity in crimes that general population could never ever forgive once aware. They will instead force each other to commit greater austerities to hide previous crimes. The outcome will be environmentally stable world, curbed excess population by ways of man-made, and by low intensity warfare by, it claims to be chemical and biological weapons delivered through the basic elements of life. Unfortunately, it claims water and food, ruled by a global elite with special rights and privileges, stopped a downtrodden general population living in substitute and fear and poverty. Regardless of whether the civilian or the military plan prevails, the general population faces a great dismissal outcome of global dictatorship. And the author wrote this in 2012. Already the victims of this global master plan on human rights and civil liberties worldwide, the national constitutions, international covenants and enshrine them, and the international legal system that safeguarded them. The evidence of this decay is provided by the flood of individuals who turn to international courts in despair, in overwhelming numbers to seek protection from their own states whose violations increases in gravity and frequency from year to year. What they find is not justice, but the establishment last time and last line of defense. What they find is that our right to rights have been invasively destroyed. It is now conditional on the greater global political agenda of a greater leadership, that it's intent on saving mankind from itself and the planet from mankind by means any necessary, which requires a temporary suspension of our rights and liberties, which will in turn necessarily that permanent annihilation of our lawful rights. What is saved in the end will not be worth having, because what is lost in the process will prove to be what make life worthwhile. The effect of overpopulation on human rights. Many civilizations in the past grew beyond their food supply or resources and collapsed. The people of Easter Island, and it quotes a civilization back then, provided compelling examples. The modern world is also on the brink of self-destruction, and this time it will be global unless we act decisively at this 11th hour. The approaching collapse is foretold by the oh gosh, I knew this already. Natural resources, a violent competition for them, and environmental damages by they call global warming. Conflict, poverty, desperation. Isn't this history repeating itself? The importance of God and science to rescue us from ourselves, or which impinge in one way or another on human rights and civil liberties. The ultimate cause for their dire effects are, at the very least, the unprecedented gravity. These are overwhelming numbers. This is what is implied. There are simply too many of us, and we are multiplying too fast and place too great a burden on our planet. And this is what the global elites are playing on. Overpopulation, the scarcity of natural resources, placing impossible demands on sciences and technology and causing environmental damages. And then again, there's a resource here, reading this part only. The principle of overpopulation deniers, it claims, in their reliance on the argument the population will peak at 9 billion by the year 2040, and therefore we have nothing to worry about. The flawed argument, however, fails to consider that the reason the population peak at 9 billion by 2040 is that international community has used covert chemical, biological, psychological, economic methods of population control since 1945. Methods that has been carefully concealed, that bypass dramatic processes and constitute alleged genocide. Without the active suppression of human fertility for the past 68 years, of population would continue to grow at natural rates, double every 25 years, until humanity collapses under its own weight. The dramatic transition from growing to stable to decreasing population, whichever occur, it is a wholly alleged engineered process, and is certainly not the result of influences and development. Instead, civilization grinds to a halt and ends in famine, war, and environmental devastation, resources depletion. As the demise of countless civilizations prior to modern times clearly show. For classification, this point, and there's a link, killing us softly causes consequences of global depopulation policy. And that's all I shall say on the matter. It's up for the reader to sources information of a book called this, 110 pages. Killing us softly causes and consequences of the global depopulation agenda. Okay. Dated, and that's the author, 2010, and that's where it's who it's by. And it gives you an introduction to the book. And it's worth checking out who the author is first before you read it. And trust your gut instinct on this. Because why are they creating stimulated reality? Artificial intelligence. And then it goes even further back to 1950s, and it goes back into further than that. So I'll count that. What you are witnessing, remember, in America, before the rest of the world, the convex has run out now. They are running out of opinions. Think of the film Hunt for... Yes, I saw that. Honeywell 08. They're running out of options. Think of the film Hunt for Red October. And so what you're witnessing is the destruction of the old guard. We are all seeing the plan they had for humanity, and it is played out by controlled by the military to gather evidence of treason. Oh yeah. They were all given the chance to correct their wrongs, and save their legacy. Some played their part and had kill switch. Some were CGI, and some were actors and clones. Oh yes, I've heard of that too. But all are bad actors. No, correction. Some were actors, clones, but they're all bad actors. Oh, so much so. So much so. My goodness me. It's awful, the books. It's fascinating when you look at the history, for example. The Illuminati, they go underground, right? Going back to the year 1785. Even farther back than that. And when you do the research and you find who started off with raise the Jewets, and this symbolism in this book, for example, 15 in the century, 27th September 1540, yeah. And it goes into the oath of the Jewets and history of the Jewets, you know. And then Jewets control the Vatican and are the real spiritual controllers of the New World Order, right? So I always find it fascinating when you look at the history. So, for example, there was a document, 1878. The Jewets did not self-destruct with the fall of a certain individual, quote, the year 1870. In fact, the event spurred on to great effort, and the ranking Jewett priest ever to escape decision came to Christ, and it just quotes the oath. Okay, so there's a couple of books I think this is as well. Just diagrams. Oh my gosh, look at this. The Vatican and tunnels. During the Second Vatican Council was taken deep beneath the Vatican to the secret archives for all the history of the world for the past is that 2000 years is stored. Interesting. He was ordered by the study the methods of infiltration and extermination used, if I pronounce that right, and it goes into a lot more, the last great Inquisition. Many top secret documents that link the Vatican to the creation, oh my gosh, get this, of Islam and communism. Contents of this: Rome and the new army, the birth, and this is interesting, it goes into the chapters of this book, gives a summary of what it's about. Then then it goes into when they visit Jerusalem, you know, and then returns to Spain. It gives the bio, the background in history, and the Jewish cult are formed from family, you know, throughout the bloodline. You know, it's just really is important to look at the history. What I want to know, I'm not going to go to each chapter. The last great Inquisition. We love separate brethren. This is a cartoon made in those dates. Rome has changed. We can trust her. Ever heard of the 1200 AD and 1800 AD? It's never mentioned any longer, and we hear a lot about the Jewish Holocaust, when 60 million Jews perished under Hitler. But most people don't know that Hitler was a Roman Catholic and an instrument of the Holy Office. Hitler was never excommunicated for his crimes against humanity, causing the deaths of millions of people. And Martin Luther was excommunicated, translating the Bible into German. In 1933, the Vatican signed Condiet with German, making Roman Catholicism the only recognised religion in that country. Hitler, get this, was financed by Wall Street and the corrupt US bank. The pictures as well. Signing the this particular bishop later has become Pope plus X11 by 1933. He was the Vatican Secretary of State and seated second from the left in the picture here is and it goes on to another individual, can't quote it. Stand to the far right, can see the little known Vatican, and it quotes who it is. Later became Pope, made Pope. But you want to look at about the Black Pope. It goes into the years of 1938, 1958. Was a brilliant diplomat and a cunning politician, religious crusader. He was appointed back in, quote, a name, in Germany in 1920. And it just goes on again. He helped Hitler to power. He was one of the prominent personalities of the 20th century. He transformed the Vatican into a global political instrument. His pet obsession was communism, and he became the main instigator of the Cold War. Archbishop, and it quotes who it is, in Germany, talks of Hitler at the formal reception in Berlin in 1936. Martin Luther would never had allowed this. Goes into more pictures and the dates even more. 1934. Wow, look at that. Spanish War. Hitler reading with his glasses. If only he had read Martin Luther's manuscript translation of the Bible and converted to Christ, he might become the great 20th century. And it quotes the Reformer instead. Prior to 1960, the libraries in America were filled with books with the Inquisition. However, today, very few books can be found. Why has the Inquisition been covered up? Because the total number of victims reached up to 68 million people. Good gracious. They were Bible-believing Christians and Jews and even Roman Catholics. It quotes who they are in this article. Destroyed by the Inquisition carried out by the Holy Office. The victims were always found guilty. They never knew who accused them. They never had lawyers. No one would dare lift a finger to help. Doesn't it sound like similar things going on now? In 1558, Walter Hill, an 82-year-old Scotsman, a parish priest at the time, was buried alive with several others for embracing the Reformed faith. Good gracious. Inquisition was forcibly suppressed by Napoleon, I can't pronounce his name right, when he entered Madrid in 1808. The Spanish Parliament in 1831 declared it incompatible with the Constitution. The Vatican protested. King, I can't pronounce his name, restored it again in 1814. The Inquisition was finally suppressed by the Liberals in 1833. The Holy Office had never ceased to function. It is still alive while under disguise the suspicious name Sacred Doctrine of the Faith of Vatican today. Well, you see. So much for that, eh? Angela Merkel is the daughter of Hitler, yes. You're spot on with that. Definitely. They're all given the chance to correct the wrongs and save their legacy, and some played their part and had a kill switch. Some, yeah, absolutely. Honeywell. Well, spot on. Well, spot. And Tanya, bless your heart, on the other channel. I'm just doing multitasking. I think the time difference in Australia is different to you. Okay. No, right, I've got to end this now. Bloody hell. You see, that was, yeah. Just sort of observe, you know. There's interesting books, information. It's just unbelievable what you find. There's a lot of information out there, but soon the Internet of Things might go. Who knows? And there's other formats out there other than YouTube. And people might be able to go and research. But it's important to look at the history. Again, as I said, even before the dates I quoted earlier, before 1700s days, you know, the Druids and, you know, I'm sure some of them started off in the right mannerism, but it's all taken over by, if you want to be an ordinary Freemason, then, you know, and you want to get hold ahead in life, fine. But when you turn it around for your own greed and demonic mannerism and harm, you know, intent to harm humanity without the consent of the individual, So as I said, Honey was suggested a website you might want to go and check out, and this is what I'm sharing. And it's about learning information, about learning language. You know, learning, I mean, it's not, you don't have to learn Latin, but learning definitions of words and meanings. And learning about, there's no such thing as government. What is government? It's all about commerce. In history, in the old days, monetary system was bartering. You had goods and services, you had items, you made items or grew items, and you exchanged for value, acceptance of value, you know. And I would also suggest to go and check out this gentleman's Gab website page, Blue Raven. And there's podcasts, radio, talk shows, and I would suggest to go and look at alternative media, Stu Peter, a good take of what's going on in the world in many years to date. Anyway, that's it for now. They were all given this this subject, so I had to do it. Demonic, it is extremely demonic. Just check the sound. Thank you for the thumbs up. Who thumbs up this and was watching. I've got this demonic. This is UK targeted demons, end of times, and this targeted being apply. I mean, it sounds far-fetched how this targeted program is. I mean, there is a website. Let me just go and check my channel. So I'm just going to check it's streaming. Still. Let me just go on to my channel. I have to just cross-reference. Come out here for 5 moments. Bear with us, guys. Just gotta check that the website, you can go and research if you want to do that. Yeah, it's still around. Oh, you can't spray fly spray over your bloody bed because you're breathing that toxicity in. Oh, some prats. Pathetic. I'll have to check this stream. DIY, I never ever get that. And the demonic. Anyway, let me just check this channel. The demonic, very demonic entities in the souls of men and women. The demonic side of life. When they need to stop you in your tracks of getting the truth, getting the facts out, they'll come at you in many ways. So, yeah, I've got nothing to attract any flies in my private dwelling. Let me just check it's streaming. Yes, it is. So as you can see, educatesouth.org, mind control, you know, it's so relevant. Honey, Hammerwell, sorry, I keep saying Honeywell. Hammerwell, oh wait, I've just thought, what is this Afghanistan thing going on? They, excuse me. So they get all their governments around the world to return to Parliament, and the way they, excuse me, and the way they have them all wound up, ours are normally on holidays. Well, you know what that's about, don't you, surely? Well, we're witnessing destruction, yeah. I'm not an expert on this subject of the globalist. This is why it's so important, in my opinion, anyway, to research your history, one's history of the Middle East. You know, there's so many very good information out there. Like, for example, you've got biblical prophecy channels, scripture. It's like when I was raised in a religious upbringing, and the basics I was taught about the year AD and BC era of Middle East, but not quite the Bible. It's a different type of version, like a Bible. It's not quite that. And the pictures is around. When I look back at that and the studies I was taught as a young 8-year-old up to 14-year-old, and when I look back on this book I've still got all these years on, and I look at the pictures and I see what I was taught is what's going on in the Middle East for a long, long time. I mean, you know, not that old, but it's a long time, biblical years. The implied to cause conflict, isn't it? I mean, to cause the globalist civil unrest in many areas and many formats. And as I said, economical, and you need to dig deep the real history and facts, which I'm not going to quote specifics on this format because another strike, this channel's gone. So you just have to be careful and just trust your gut instinct and source your information wisely, and be aware that all you're doing, i.e. mobiles, emails, internet, everything is monitored. Okay, the use of the AI, it's not just someone behind a computer screen. The artificial intelligence is extremely advanced. The super interface technology computers, a lot of them quantum computers, extreme advanced, is based, a lot of them in Utah, USA. Yeah. I wasn't aware till a little while ago about all that. And so basically, they have to create the image, the illusion of democracy still. And so in England, for example, I've got old documents, printouts, House of Commons, House of Parliament, they're just corporations. You know, and they use the illusion of democracy, like the House of Lords, you know, and like military or defence, it's a corporation. I mean, I had all these documents from 2012 printouts, and the late John Harris, tpuc.org. The archive website's still up. I don't know if you can still find the documents. I've got the printouts. Everything, like in England, NHS England Limited, Public Health England Limited, every town, it's all business, it's all commerce. And how they're trading, it's like everything in the world. It's all about commodities, resources, and control. And they see them living, man or woman, as a commodity, as a trading birth certificate in the stock market. as a surety. When you advance the learner stage of trust and equity law, and when you eventually are able to do a live life claim, and you will gain back that bond trust account, and you're the sovereign. And this is worldwide. It might be a different process in different corporations worldwide. And but what they're trying to do, the bigger picture, is a massive distraction. And to create this certain subjects I can't mention here, there's a great website, stopthecrime.net. I think I don't, she's moved from California now. She, for years, have been warning the world and her area and America and California about the wildfires. I mean, these fires, the high temperatures, what you're seeing, and you have to focus on which subject, which angle you want to go into, because it can lead you into rabbit holes and take you down too many if you're not careful. And the mindset, the spirituality part of humanity now is awakening to the darkness of this planet, and they're using the Middle East as just the ultimate game to build a new quotation world order, and a new temple over the biblical temple in Jerusalem, allegedly, where the original temple in the history in all those centuries ago, allegedly, I shall put, and to create the ultimate control. I'm not one to go into much about that myself. Others out there, websites, blogs, and so forth, can explain more. But it's all interlinked. It's not just separate. It's a massive, great, big sort of like puzzle. When you put the pieces together, bit by bit, and you see the bigger picture to it all, and then you get targeted. They don't want you to be awakened. They want you to be just dumbed down and just go along and just take the offers and certain things going on to date, and then you just get singled out. And then there's a deception that what's going on in the world now. It's a conquer and divide, isn't it? And all the futuristic sci-fi movies there is for so long, with the technology, 5G is nothing, that is serious enough. But the brainwaves, the interface technology, that is extreme. And that affects your DNA, that affects the brainwaves. So really the ultimate game. The ultimate is hacking into the mindset, controlling consciousness. The globalist elites and the bloodline families have always, throughout their generations, their family bloodlines to date, it's the collection of your DNA, collection of the blood, to see who's got the guard gene, It's been a long process to track down who is going to go along with the globalist, communist world agenda for the future, to decide what is human, mixing man to machine. So you've got everything AI. It's a bit like the Fifth Element movie. Basically, it is goodbye to the old industry and welcome to the new tech. Yep. The end times in the Bible refer to the end of the 3D bondage world. The Great Awakening is give us the power and knowledge of the higher 5D world and get us ready for the new world. That is factual on that one. I just thought, what is, yeah. And Antarctica has, this is exactly, where do you think they all are? A lot of them are globalist elites. You know, there's really good documentaries out there, which is really fascinating to have a look at. The Antarctica has large, huge amounts of resources. We haven't really touched much of the earth yet. Oil is not scarce and formed by dinosaurs, they told us, so they could profit from it. You see? It's just a commodity. What did I keep saying? Hammer weight. Yeah, so it's not just, I mean, the patterns, or I don't know if I still got the website. I might have found it. See if I still got the website up. No. I don't look at mainstream media anymore anyway. Let me just see if I still got the website. See if I could go to my history and find the website, which you could go look at, reference Antarctica. Hold on, let me stop sharing for a minute. Let me go into it right now. Let's just try and see if I can find the website. That might help. Yeah, I should be able to get it up. Oh, limited. No, it's cut me off because they cut into my. Let me just have a look. No, they cut off the website. I mean, my software thing earlier hacked into my laptop. Unfortunately, I can't find it. But never mind. Yeah, it's claimed that they they sent the Nazis to Mars after World War II, and they've been feeding them humanity ever since. Apparently they had a treaty to supply certain amount. Can't remember top of my head. I don't use Google. I do that one, yeah, go. What am I saying? Go, yeah. Yeah, definitely data. It doesn't matter which one you use, they're all collecting your data. Yeah, Hammerwell, definitely. So yeah, let me just make sure this website. But yeah, when you go to Project Paperclip on this website streaming. Yes. Let me see if I can actually log into it and find it myself. Get the website up. See if it comes up. What I tend to do is live stream when I'm sleeping, because they do try my door handle during the night. They try my lock. The perpetrates at number 7 where I live, opposite in the corridor. They do try to get in when I'm asleep at night. That's how bloody sick this type of program is. Here we go. We got, I don't think much to Donna Marshall. Right, let me go into the website. Then I'm going to Project Bluebeam, not Project Bluebeam, Project Paperclip. I'm just looking for that. You got a huge amount of really positive remedies. You got the history of, you really got a lot of good connections, insights. I'm looking for, you got FEMA. When you look at the history of Tavistock in London, I'm just trying to, the Rockefeller, just trying to find, you got time travel. I mean, you wouldn't even believe what's really going on. Just trying, there's so many links, I'm just trying to find the right one. It might be this one. Let me just have a quick look before I share it. Because you're talking about the Project Bluebeam, yeah. A journalist, both of whom were searching Project Bluebeam, died of heart attacks within weeks of each other, and neither had a history of heart disease. Siege was in Canada. The other Canadian journalist was visiting Ireland prior to his death. 1994 article this is. And then Siege, the other Canadian journalist visiting Ireland prior to death. Canadian government abducted Siege's daughter and attempted to dissuade him from pursuing the search and Project Bluebeam. The daughter was never returned. This individual's heart attacks are one of the alleged methods of death induced by Project Bluebeam. The article dated 2009. I'm only beginning to now fully grasp the entire siege of the humanity and the unbelievable courage these journalists demonstrated to revealing the secrecy anonymously given to him by certain politicians and military people, intelligence people who still possess a conscience and a sense of humanity. The required companion piece, the article occurred, disclosed, presented by Siege in 1994, a Canadian Free Press at the time. The planned NSA Illuminati script, the Siege revealed in a talk, is taken directly from today's headlines. Right. The transcript, 1994. I'm going to cover that because it's related. I'm going to share this. Screen share. Try again. Until it works. Oh, for some reason they don't want me to share this document. Okay, so I'll read it. The famous NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Project Bluebeam, Bluebeam project has 4 different steps in order to implement the New Age religion with the Antichrist as its head. We must remember the New Age religion is the very foundation of the New World Government, without which religion the dictatorship of the New World Order completely impossible. I repeat that. Without the universal belief in the New Age religion, success of the New World Order would be impossible. That is why the Project Bluebeam is important to them, but then has been so well hidden until now. And this was dated 1994 article. Engineered earthquakes. Let me see if I can still share this. Try again. No, they won't let me screen share it. Just have to read it. Educateyourself.org and the website Project Bluebeam. You can read yourself. First step, as I said, engineered earthquakes, hoaxes, discoveries. First step is concerns the breakdown of evolution or archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup with artificially created earthquakes at certain precise locations on the planet, supposedly new discoveries, which will finally explain to all people the era of all fundamental religion documents. The fabrications of this information will be used to make all nations believe that their religious documents have been misunderstood for centuries and misinterpreted. Psychological preparations for the first steps already been implemented with the film 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Star Trek series and the Independence Day, all which deal with invasions from space and coming together for all nations to repel the invaders. The latest films, Jurassic Park, deals with the theories of evolution and claim God's words are lies. Hoax discoveries. What is important to understand in the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world where significant archaeological teachings have indicated and arcane mysteries have been buried. By those types of earthquakes, it will be possible for scientists to rediscover the arcane mysteries, which will be used to discredit all fundamental religious doctrines. This is the first preparation of the plan for humanity, because what they want to do is destroy the beliefs of all Christians, Muslims on the planet. To do that, they need some false proof from the past that would prove all nations and their religions and all has misinterpreted and misunderstood. Big space show in the sky. The second step in the NASA Blue project involves a genetic space show. Excuse me. With 3-dimensional optical holograms, sound and laser projections, and multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each revealing different images according to the graphical, regional, and national religious faiths. This Soviets have predicted an advanced computer, that's Russia, even exploited them and fed them with a minute psychological particulars based on the studies of the electrical mechanical composition of the human body. Bloody hell. Studies of the electrical, chemical, and biological properties of the human brain. I knew they were doing this long time ago, well, since 2018 really, with hacking into the brains, testing human. I mean, they've been testing on the MK Ultra and the neuro programming of target individuals, testing non-consensually the technology on human brain. These computers were fed as well with the languages of all human creatures and their meanings. The dialects of all creatures have been fed into the computers with satellite transmissions. The sovereigns began to feed the computers with adjectives, programs, like the ones the new Messiah. It is also the sovereigns, Russia, New World Order people have restored to a certain word I won't repeat here, methods with human society by allocating electrical wavelengths. This is what they're going to do, electrical. The body is electrical, naturally. And they want to interfere with the natural human body formulation with wavelengths for every individual and every society and culture to induce these dark, the word begins with S letter, and I won't repeat that word here, thoughts. Now, if that individual doesn't comply with the derelicts of the New World Order, that is. There are two different aspects of the step 2. In the first part, you got the space show. Which does the space come from? The space show, the holographic images will be used in the stimulation of the ending during all nations will be shown scenes that be fulfillment of that which they excuse me, desire to verify the properties anniversary events. These will be projected from satellites. That's got this 5G at the top, yeah? With the satellites. On the sodium layer, about 16 miles above Earth. We will see tests every once in a while, but they are called UFOs, flying saucer sightings. The results of these deliberately staged events will show the world the new Christ, the new Messiah, for the intimate, immediate implementation of the new religion. Enough truth will be fossiled upon unsuspecting world to hook them into the lie. Even the most learned will be deceived. The project has perfected the ability for some device referred to tractor beams by ufologists to lift up enormous amount of people, as in the rapture. And while excuse me, and while they whisk the entire group into Never Never Land, we see tests of this device as an abduction of humans by mysterious little grey aliens which snatched people out of their beds and through windows and waiting for the motherships. The calculated resistance to the universal religion, the new Messiah, and ensuring holy wars will result in the loss of human life on a scale never imagined before all humanity history. And this is on this website. It's not me saying it, I'm just reading it. The Project Bluebeam project will pretend to be the universal fulfillment of the prophecy of old, as major an event such that witnessed 2,000 years ago. In principle, it will make us and use of the skies as a movie screen on the sodium layer of 60 miles above. As space-based lasers and generating satellites project the stimulus images in 4 corners of the planet in every language and dare it according to its religion. It deals with religious aspects of the New World Order and deception and seduction on a massive scale. Computers will coordinate the satellites, software already in place will run the sky shows. The holographic images are based on nearly identical signals, combining to produce an image or hologram. Will deepen perceptive, which is equally acceptable to the ELF, VLF, and LE waves, optical phenomena. Specifically, the show will consist of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving a different image according to specific national, religion, regional areas. Not a single area will be excluded. With computer animation, sounds appearing to illuminate from the very depths of space. Astonished followers of various creeds will witness their own returned Messiah in a convincing lifelike reality, like projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, etc. will merge into one after correct examinations of the mysteries and revelations will have been disclosed. This is one God, will in fact be the Antichrist, who will explain about the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religion of old is responsible for turning brother against brother, nation against nation, and therefore old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age world religion, representing one God and Antichrist they see before them. So this article goes in more depth, and you've got artificial thought and communications, and it goes down with the connection with the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, they're all involved. You've got United States, Canada, Great Britain, Australia, Germany, Finland, France, etc., etc. British computer scientists all have been in connection. Oh my goodness me, you've got the military involved, psychology, these studies is endless. And then again, you got the, what people are talking about, the re-education camps, okay, and So if you think target individuals is just like, oh, people just making things up and all this stuff and they're discredited, it's extremely important to know what the technology they've been having of the how they can do this without a trace of the microwave beams onto the heart, onto the body, onto the brain. So there you go. I think I might have lost you there. So, yeah. Where was I? Yep, same here, me for bedtime too now. You know, of Anthony Patch, yeah, and the Sun, good work, and time travel. Take care, God bless Hammerwell08, and for all those money playbacks, educateyourself.org is a good website, it's not me. Thanks for the chat, enjoy, yep, I've got to go too. So you take care, everybody. Go into this stream. I'm just going to end the other one. Take care, Tanya. God bless you in Australia. Ending that one.